All right, we are recording, and happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I'm so glad all of y'all made it a point to hop on here tonight because we have lots of exciting things to go over. So what we're going to be doing tonight is I'm going to be kicking off a training for Facebook parties. So I know a lot of people on our teams are using them. And so just wanted to do a training on what they're for, why we use them, who would use them, like kind of the purpose, manage expectations, that sort of thing. And then next week, Polly's going to be diving deeper into the actual like nitty gritty of doing the Facebook parties and giving you some tips to make them more successful. So it's just like a 2-part series that we're doing. But before we jump into that, we wanted to talk about some exciting things that are happening in Arbonne. So the first thing is we will have a brand new website March 1st, like brand new, not just like a tweak here, tweak there, like brand new. All the VPs have seen it and it is gorgeous. Like it is stinking awesome. Like it is amazing. So they're going to have a training up on the source, like multiple different training modules that you can take a look at starting on February 16th on Tuesday. So, and again, it's going to be intuitive. So, I mean, it's like I always tell people, I'm like, if I go to a new shopping site, I don't know how to use their website. But I figure it out and I get things in my cart and I buy them. So it's the same thing with this website, but there's going to be all kinds of features that we can have. Like one feature is going to be that we can actually build a shopping cart for a preferred client and then text it to them or email it to them or send them to Messenger, which is awesome. We can do it where it has the sign up in there or if it doesn't have the sign up in there. Like there's all kinds of ways to do it, which will be amazing. You won't have to like walk. They're going to have different videos of like that we can send to preferred clients of like how to sign yourself up, you know, like that thing. So it's going to be pretty awesome. So again, that launches March 1st, but all the training modules will be up on the source on February 16th. So check that out. So with the changes in the website, one big change that is happening is that they're going to be getting rid of host rewards. So if you have any host rewards, use them if you want them. You know, use them. And if you've got any hosts that are going to be using them, use them. I know we have a lot of people who, you know, don't use them for their hosts. Like I, for instance, use my discount instead and then give a free product so I can get the volume. Well, now they have something that's going to make it even better. So instead of host rewards, they're going to have where each consultants get 10 coupon codes that you can give to your hosts. And so that will allow them to shop with your 35% off discount. And in addition to that, something, if you were here last year, we had this special that ran, it was called Build for More. And this is going to be evergreen. So they're going to have this always. And what the Build for More program is if a PC gets up to $400 worth of volume, they go from 20% off to 40% off. And if a consultant gets up to $500 volume, it goes from 35% off to 50% off. Okay, when this happened last year, I think it was last March that they did it, or February when they did it. When they did that, like it was awesome because the thing is that they're going to actually have indicators on our shopping cart that tells you you're this close to getting 40% off. You know, you're this close to getting free shipping. It's going to really make it intuitive for that preferred client to like up their order. When this happened last year, we didn't have our 125s for 30s, like, you know, like the host reward benefits, like within our own carts. And people didn't miss it, believe me. Like they were really using this Build for More. It was a bigger deal. So, so you definitely want to be excited about this. What this is going to do for your business is it's going to boost your volume. And I think the fact also that we can give these to hosts, I mean, they can get from 35 to 50% off, you know. I'm not sure if there's going to be a free product built in there or anything like that. I know that preferred clients, of course, will get their free products like they always do. But, you know, there'll be more on the source that that you can do that. And yes, what Gabby's saying is host coupons will count towards your QV, which is before where, you know, like, you know, when you're doing host rewards, you didn't get any QV for that. So does anyone, before we go into the training, have any questions about that? Man, this is an easy peasy group. All the questions that they're going to have is on the source. Do you have a question, Jennifer? Oh, wait, you're muted.
Sorry, sorry. When does this happen? On March 1st or when?
March 1st.
Okay.
So everything happens March 1st, and it's because it has to happen with a website change. So like
Okay.
all that will happen March 1st. One other thing I wanted to point out is that, so we'll have, a brand new website and all these cool features. Every quarter, they're going to be adding things to the new website. So like, apparently it's going to be like mind blowing. So just like the coolest things that we'll be able to do. So be looking for that, but we just wanted to go ahead and give you all the update before you started getting some emails about that and just like, what is this? We wanted to give everyone the lowdown. So, okay, so I am going to share my screen and I am going to talk about Facebook parties. Before I share the screen while I see everyone, how many people are using Facebook parties? Okay, good. So, and those of you without your screen, I'm going to assume it's about 50-50. So, okay. So I want to talk about Facebook parties. I want to talk about, like, this training is going to really talk about what they are, why we use them, and who would be using them. Okay. So, a couple things I just want to point out is that if you're not on Facebook, if you're like, well, I only do Instagram, get on board with Facebook parties, because just the way that the whole platform is laid out, it makes it a very simple way. And if you're like, oh, well, my market's not on there, awesome, go build a new market because there's a lot of people that are on there. And so I really just want you to have an open mind if you're not using them, of why you want to use them. But just remember our reach out methods. The way we have of telling the Arbonne story is we do one-on-ones, which is just having a meeting with one other person. It's really more about the amount of people you have. And we typically do the one-sheeter with that. You can do a group presentation where you can use the PowerPoint or the one-sheeter. And then we have Facebook parties. So those are like our three main ways of telling the Arbonne story. So Facebook parties. Okay, so before we get into Facebook's parties, I want to talk about what is, hang on one second, let me move this over so I can get this. I can control it. Okay, so I need to move my little boxes of people over. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so let's start out by first talking about what is the goal of our business, right? So the goal of our business, hang on one second, for some reason. Okay, I think it'll be good now, is to create and grow massive networks of consumers, okay? That's the goal of our business. You could easily grow a small network by yourself. That would be the direct selling portion of this business. Or I'm guessing why all of us are on this phone call. We all know that nothing compares to what you can grow with a team. And that would be the social marketing side of this business. And that's typically, if you're on a team call, like, you're in building mode. You're not here to just collect the weekly paycheck. You're like growing a massive network. Okay. So when building a social marketing business, three things have to happen for it to be successful. Okay. These three things is we have to find people to talk to, right? Like, you can know everything in the world, but if you don't have anything to anyone to talk to, it doesn't really matter. That is called prospecting. Okay, then we need to talk to the people we find. Again, if you have all these people, but you have nothing to say to them, it doesn't really matter. That is called present. And then in our system, we present to 40 people a month, and that's telling the whole Arbonne story, whether it's, it's product and business together. So that's our system. And then the last thing you need to do is teach your team to do the same, which is duplication. Okay, that makes sense to everyone, right? Like, those are the basics of our business. The thing about Facebook parties, it does all three. It prospects, it presents, and it duplicates. And I want to show you why. So prospecting, finding people to talk to. It is the perfect way to meet your friends' friends in a non-weird way and have total permission to talk about Arbonne. Okay, so like, if I were to just be at a cocktail party and started talking to all your friends about Arbonne, that would be weird. But if your friend agrees to have a Facebook party and people are invited in the event, and Polly will go into the nitty gritty of these details about how they're private groups and we don't spam people and all of that sort of thing, we have total permission to, I mean, that's what they're showing up there for, right? Okay, presentation. In this realm, in Facebook parties, the presentation simply starts the conversation with someone. So, yes, we talk a little bit about the business when we give our I story. And then, of course, we talk about Arbonne when we give the 15-minute presentation. But basically, for it to count as 40 people, like in your pipeline, you want to be in conversations with all these people. But the presentation itself, if you have someone who watches the live and attends the event, that is starting the conversation with someone. And of course, doing Facebook parties duplicates easily. And I'll show you why in a second, just because we have a system and an outline, like you literally follow the rules and you're going. Okay, so who would Facebook parties be perfect for? Well, busy people. Busy people love doing Facebook parties. Why? The setup time takes 10 minutes. So I will put this disclaimer out there. When you're first setting one up for the first time, and I know Tiffany, you're on the phone because we did that one Saturday. You're gonna be like, yeah, it doesn't take 10 minutes, it takes all day. It's gonna take you a little bit more time because you're like looking at like, okay, I need to put this here. Okay, once you've got them rolling, I can set up a Facebook party in like 5 minutes. Like it is nothing for me to do it, but I'm organized and I have all my images stored in a certain place. So just know that going into it. The first time you do it, it might be a little bit like take a little bit more time, but once you get rolling with it, I'd say it takes 10 minutes to set up. The actual event takes 15 minutes. You could knock 4 of these out in a night. Like if you wanted to like say, okay, Thursday nights are my Facebook nights, you literally can block out an hour and a half and do like 4 of them just to give yourself enough time between all of them. Okay, most of the work is done in the follow-up, which can be done in the nooks and crannies of your day. So like, and this is what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about. But what I mean by this is like the kind of work you can expect from doing from a Facebook party. It is not that you do the event, just like when you do a healthy happy hour or back in the day when we did in-person events, you could expect to sell a lot of product there in the moment. With this, there's a lot of follow-up. But the cool thing about the follow-up is you're doing them in the nooks and crannies of your day. Like this is me doing the follow-up. Yeah, that's it. I'm messaging people. Okay. So, and then the second person who would benefit from doing Facebook parties are consultants who need to expand their network. Do y'all know any of those? Because basically it should be everyone doing Arbonne. Like we are always growing our 100-person list into a 1,000-person list into a 1,000,000-person. I mean, look, there are 7.3 billion people on this planet. Like game on, let's go. Okay. So the main reason for doing a Facebook party is to add people to your funnel. So again, don't jump into doing Facebook parties to be like, I'm going to build all this volume tonight. Like that could happen. I mean, I've had plenty of Facebook parties that do $500 or $1,000 in a night. I'm not saying that that can't happen, but don't make that be your expectation. The main reason for you to do a Facebook party is to add people into your funnel, okay? Like, and this is so important to understand because you wouldn't have known these people before. And like now you're having access to these people, but the mission is always the same. So just like in our business, like whether we're doing a one-on-one or whether we're doing a group or a Facebook party, the goal, and this seems like it's in reverse. It seems like you would want to start with selling product first, but no, you're first looking for a business partner. You're looking for a consultant. Why? Because that's the potential for millions in your business, okay? The next thing is that you're looking for someone to host another one. Why? Because that's the potential for thousands in your business. The third and the last one is you're looking for a preferred client. Why? Because that's the potential for hundreds in your business. Okay, does that make sense? Like, you leverage yourself with a business partner, a host leverage yourself to an extent by getting in front of more people. And then of course, the end sale is great. But the thing is that a sale is going to happen with finding a consultant, finding a host, so like you pick up all of those things. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, I only see a few faces, so I'm just going to give me an emphatic amen. Okay. So especially with Facebook parties, the fortune is 1,000% in the follow-up, okay? You can generate some sales and some interest in the business with just the 15-minute live and the posts, but almost everything will come from the follow-up. I cannot stress that enough. I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, well, that was a dud. Well, I mean, really? Because we're just getting started, So to effectively follow up, you need to be in communications with the guests. So the best way to do that is through three-way messaging between you and the host. So I'm going to take you over to our website and show you what we have up there. But it is important to look at the details. It's just like with this business, like it is important to look at every single detail in here. Don't be like, well, I'm not going to do that. Oh, my host isn't going to want to do that. Okay, well, they're not really then they're not really your host. Like move on and find someone else. Like it is critical to the success of your event, because think of it this way. If your host doesn't connect you on a three-way message to these people that are in the group, if they don't friend you, they might not ever see the message from you. They might not ever, ever, ever get it. And the whole point of this is to start a dialogue with people, to start saying, are you interested in nutrition? Are you interested in skincare? What stood out to you about Arbonne? It's just to engage them in a conversation. We do have different tricks that if you get in a bind, and Polly will go over that. Like if your host absolutely refuses, we've got some other things. They're not going to be as effective as getting your host to do this. Okay. If you event doesn't generate anything that night, it didn't bomb. Okay. Again, like it really is all about the results coming later. Like it could be the results come the next day, it could come in weeks, or it can even come months later. In fact, I had someone message me out of the blue 7 months after doing the Facebook party that they wanted the 30-day. Like it was like 10:30 at night and I saw it on my phone before I was going to bed, and like Atticus was already sleeping. And I like snuck out of the room and got the order. But like, I was like, how unexpected and how random. But like that's the thing, is you never know. So like you really like, you want to go into this knowing that you're building relationships with people. Okay, remember this is a multiple exposures over a short period of time game. Like that is how this business works. That's how it should work with all of your reach out methods, but especially with Facebook parties. Like it's going to be like a back and forth conversation, maybe sending a sample, maybe finding out a little bit about them, that sort of thing. Okay, so now I want to share the screen and show you, dun, dun, dun. Okay, y'all know that you go into like getting into activity, and then you go down here to exposures and you see Facebook parties. This is our new and beautiful Facebook parties. Okay, we've got our quick buttons here. We've got like why to do a Facebook party, but here's a step-by-step guide. It is like clean, easy to follow. We've got text up there to use. You can literally click on the picture you want. So you see this right here. We've got pro tips along the way that help you. So hopefully this will be a much easier way for people to like set up their Facebook events, especially for the first time. But then also we have it set up in a way that if you're just a pro at doing this and you need this as a guide, you can just grab the things that you need. And again, Polly next week is going to go through physically like what, how you set this up. I mean, she's not going to physically go through how to set it up, because literally like if you can read, you can set it up, because like you just follow the directions here. But it like she'll give you some pro tips on like things that you want to be looking out for and things that you want to do. So I'm going to stop the share. If I can find that little button. Y'all are all like way on the tippy top of my screen. Hold on one second. There we go. Stop share and open it up to just questions that everyone might have. So first off, does that make sense of the purpose why you are doing a Facebook party? Like, how we have on our tracker, our 100-person list, like it's just ever like mine is like ever growing because of doing these Facebook parties. It's also ever growing because of me doing one-on-ones. And it's also ever growing because of me doing like, healthy happy hours. But the nice thing about this is that like, Lauren Robinson, actually, do you want to tell us about your, like, and is she on right now? I'm looking to see if I can see her.
I'm on.
No, but not, I know you're on is, let's see, is
Oh
Christina?
no, her baby. Nope, she's not. She's gonna watch the recording.
Oh, cool. Okay. Y'all have the call today. So tell us how the new business builder that you're launching, how y'all met.
It's crazy, you guys. The Facebook parties they're amazing. And yes, I've had duds. I've had, one, even with the follow-up that it wasn't that great, but I met a girl in Costa Rica years ago. She was the host of a Facebook party for me. I knew she was into our protein powder, so I got her to host and sent her a goodie bag for hosting, regardless of what happened from the event. But one of the guests was this girl named Christine, and she did not watch the live. She did not watch the live. She was not on there when I was speaking. There was like two people on it. But she commented afterwards, like the next day, I think, commented great information. So of course I'm messaging her and following up with her. I got her to host her own one. So that was the direction I went with her. She was interested in items, but she had a new baby. She didn't know what she could use, what she couldn't use. She wanted to research. And so I took the direction of, you know what, why don't you host your own and I'll send you a goodie bag and, we can go from there. So she ended up hosting her own Facebook Live event. And after that is when she started asking questions more about the business. And so yeah, she was an unexpected business builder. She's in New Jersey. I would have never known her otherwise. And she's a holistic practitioner. She's a life coach. She's amazing. She's a mom now. And, she even tried to dodge it. If I'm being honest, she was like, I don't know if I would have the time. And I said, you know what? There's never going to be a good time. I can promise you that as a mom myself. There's never going to be a good time. Like life happens. I'll tell you what, though, I remember having a baby and she's a nursing mom, which is very time consuming. I said, when I was nursing was like probably the best time for me to work on reach outs and work on personal growth. Like I would listen to things as I was nursing the baby. And I said, it can be fit in if you really want it. And she said, you know what, you're right. Let's do it. And she joined our team.
And yeah, one thing I want to say is we funneled her through. So like, she was in a Facebook party, then she had her own. Lauren was talking to her, conversation, and then we did the one sheeter with her that gave it like specifically product and business. So it's like, you don't want to discount that step either and be like, oh, they already know about Arbonne. They don't really know everything. They know the fun stuff with Arbonne, for the Facebook party, a little bit about the products, a little bit about that, and you don't even know if they're like fully paying attention because they don't even know if this is something they necessarily want to do. But you definitely want to then funnel them through and do the one sheeter if it's someone you're prospecting. Now, do I do the one sheeter with every single person that I talk to, that I'm communicating with? Not yet, but eventually, they might order products and stuff like that, but they are someone who are in my 5 reach outs a day that I'm like, oh, so it's like, in fact, I did one at the end of last month with someone who was in my Facebook party in September, and she had been a preferred client, had already ordered the nutrition, already ordered the skincare. And I was just like, hey, I would love to show you what I'm doing with the business. Would you mind hopping on and checking out the business side of Arbonne? It may or may not be a fit for you, but I'd love to pick your brain because I don't know anyone in Moody, which is, if you're not in Birmingham, that's like 45 minutes away. It's like, of course we all know someone in Moody, but like I'm looking to build a team there. So she said, great, so like that's the thing, is that like it's not that like, so we had this discussion before when we talk about getting in front of 40 faces. Is it that like your 40 faces are, if you have 40 people on one Facebook Live, that you've done your 40 faces for the month? No. Does it mean that you have to do a one sheeter with all those 40 people in a one-on-one? Not necessarily, not to count as your 40, but you need to be in conversations with them. Like for them to count, because there's so many times that you have someone who watches it and they're ghosting you. I wouldn't count them, but like I would count the people that you're having a conversation, having a relationship with, they're ordering product, like that would count as one of your 40. And then, yes, you do want to funnel them into seeing the whole one sheeter, because I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, oh, I didn't know that there was a business side to this, So in fact, Robbie said that last week. So, okay, Lauren.
I'm raising my hand like, ooh, because because what you just said, like if someone's ghosting you, like I just had tonight, and Polly just had somebody tonight too, like I always send out the initial message, which you'll learn about, I'm sure, from Polly next week. Once they've joined the Facebook event as a guest, you shoot them a private message, but she ghosted that. And so I went back and did a voice note, and and it's been, 2 almost 2 weeks since the event. And and again, the host, you guys think like the people that can host these for you, it could be anybody. The host of this specific event I'm talking about, I met on the playground. Did not know her. I met her on the playground. Just another mom. We started talking. We became Facebook friends. Yada yada yada. I asked her to host. She did. But one of her guests, the host wanted to do the 30-day herself. So she was doing the Facebook event to see, who she could get to do it with her. Even the ones that are ghosting you, you follow up with them too, because you never know. One of the girls that had ghosted me before just sent a response tonight saying, I'm very interested in your 30-day. She didn't watch the live. She watched it later. So people are watching, even if they're not on the live, still do it because they could watch it later.
And you really need to do, like, the average is you need to do 14 of these before you can judge if they're working for you or not. Like, it really takes doing a ton of them. Well, first off, because, I love it when people are like, well, I don't know how to do it. I need you to do it. I'm like, I didn't know how to do one a few months ago. Like, now I'm doing it, like, you can't mess these up. Like, as long as you're having fun and you're yourself, they're great, and there's like, the audience doesn't know if it's like, oh, you should have put that slide first before. I mean, they don't know that. I mean, it doesn't matter, and again, like, a consultant came up with this. It's not like this is like an Arbonne thing and we're teaching people how to do this. Like, this is literally just another way to reach people. So you have to do a bunch of them before you can decide if they're working for you or not. But again, I can't stress that, like, there's so many times I have people say, well, this didn't work. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, no one ordered. And I'm like, right. But, like, I mean, how many names do you have on your list? Like, start following up, like, start messaging them, because that's what it's all about. And that's how it's different from, like, that instant gratification when we did an in-person event. Now, again, I built my business doing in-person events in the early days. And, like, even then there was follow-up. Like, I was missing out if I didn't follow up. But, like, but I mean, there was more of a people, like, you were engaged with people, they were talking to you, just like when you have a healthy happy hour, you're having conversations, and then you can, like, take that conversation privately, but you've kind of already had that engagement. With this, it's a little bit different. You have to chase after the engagement. It's up to you as a consultant to do that. So, and these are very effective. And again, like what Lauren said, like, I mean, anyone can do this, like, and anyone can host for you.
Also, the other thing that I was going to share, you guys, because I just had an hour-long talk today with a girl that I met through a Facebook party that works with my husband, but I didn't know and would never have met. Same kind of situation as Lauren, I think, except different. But anyway,
except not Costa Rica.
Except not Costa Rica, right? I mean, not quite so far. I mean, just down the 280. But it's kind of like Andrea said. I mean, it's a process. So it's usually going to take me, typically, and I still have sample packs out to 2 other people from the same event that's been 2 weeks ago, I think. And so this person, I'm just asking every single person, especially people that have a sample. I just do that thing. Normally what I do is, just a brief overview. I'd love to get to know you better, answer questions. So we did that. And then she has samples, and then she wanted more information. And we kind of started talking about the business. And then we had an hour-long conversation today. And then she's like, okay, well, why don't I do this? And then I'm pretty sure she's going to do a consultant, which is awesome. But it's just, it's like Andrea said. I mean, it's not going to happen. It might take a month. It might take longer. It might take however, In fact, while we were on this call, somebody who used to be on my team, who is still a consultant, who still buys the product, just messaged me and said, hey, this girl just reached out to me and she wants the 30-day. And it's been a year since this girl, who is amazing and wonderful, but it's been a year since she's done anything. And so I don't know how long it's been since this other person remembered that she did Arbonne. So, it doesn't thankfully take that long for everybody, or that would be like really hard. It doesn't, but that's why it's such a numbers game. And that's why, like Andrea said, you got to do more of these before you can even make a judgment call, because you're going to get better at it too. I mean, I remember the first event I went to without Andrea, my hands were shaking. my mouth, I froze completely. Nobody could have a worse experience ever. I know, I'm convinced, than that experience that I had. I walked out to my car and just like started crying. And then I was like, well, I could cry or I could laugh about it, because one day I know I'm going to laugh about it. And then I just was like, okay, stop crying, move on. But that's how we get better. We have to fail forward. So just like dive in and start doing them and just do more, and don't get discouraged from one or two that don't work. And you can go back to people because their life changes and times change, and so you can go back and just say, hey, I'm circling back around. Just wanted to touch base with you. How's it going? Start a conversation.
Yeah. And one just little side note about first presentations. My first presentation was a muffins and mimosa. This is before we thought that gluten was the devil. And so I got drunk because I was so nervous to start the presentation. I just kept drinking mimosas. I was so nervous. And like the lady's like, are we gonna start? And I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll start in a minute. And I was just like talking to people, and it was like brutal. Like, I mean, and again, like I had like toddlers and babies at home, and like I'm like called out. I guess like, whoa, I know muffins and mimosas. But so yeah, like everyone has their first presentation, like when you're just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. But like that's the thing, is nobody knows. Like, and like, I mean, you're just gonna get better, like and better just by doing them over and over. And I feel like now, like I can do these Facebook parties in my sleep, just because like there was one month when we first started with these, I forget when it was, but I challenged myself to do 15. And so I did 15. And like, I mean, I was like a pro at it. And again, Polly's going to go through all these tips of like things you want to do so you can organize yourself to have it all in one place. So just like what you can do to make sure that you have a successful event. I mean, because there are like little nuances, but it's all in that outline. So definitely check it out. I know we're going over on time and it's Valentine's, but definitely check it out. It looks beautiful. Polly and Gabby and I worked on it. Gabby put together the look of it, which is amazing. And it should be really, really easy to use. So check it out. And here's what I want you to leave, what I want everyone to leave with. I want everyone, okay, if you're going for a goal this month, book 10 Facebook events between now and the end of the month. You will thank me later. You will cuss me when you're like reaching out to people like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Andrew's just having me do this. But if you're going for a goal, like if you're going for a bonus or you're going for qualifications or promotion, book 10, okay? If you're not going for that, if you don't want to stretch yourself, I would at least book 4. Like I would book 4, because like that is literally something you could do 2 times a week. We've got like that much time left where you could do 2 a week. So and really that's the only way you're going to get comfortable with it. You might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and just go. So that is it, y'all. I hope everyone has a fabulous Valentine's Day night. And I just want to thank you for hopping on the call and making the time. And let's rock this.
Yay. Also, Erin had a question in the comments about samples. Do we want to, if I know we can hop off, if you want to hop off, you can hop off, but I just wanted to make sure that we answered.
Sure, yeah,
your
we
question.
can stick around for questions too.
Wait,
so what was the question about samples?
Or someone asked, let me see.
Oh,
not Erin, sorry, Emily. How do we give out samples? Do we make them ourselves with the products we buy, or do we send samples through the Arbonne website?
Okay, so great question. So it really is up to you. So I actually was having this conversation with Lauren Rose the other day with a big event that she did. What I do is and I'm not at home, I'm at the lake right now, so I don't have like my stuff to do this, but I make what I call a fit kit as like my sizable sample, as like my gifting to like, if anyone, like if I do a drawing or anything like that, like I'll do like these fit kits where I do like 2 things of protein, each flavor of fizz, and then a tea, like all wrapped up in this little bag. Super cute. And I give that out. And then anyone else, like I'll just give like just a fizz sample, which that's in the outline there, where you can, and there's actually like a link to a Canva template where you can like literally mail out fizzes to people. And that's actually the little trick that we have if your host won't do the 3-way messages, is that you can like put on there, hey, check your inbox because, I'm giving out free fizz, and like, and then that's going to have them check. Again, not as effective as if you have like the host connect you and that person. And does that make sense when I say that to people about the 3-way messaging, like why that makes sense, like why it works? is because like just the way that Facebook works, when you message someone, it just kind of goes into this box where they never check it. I mean, I have people like from 5 years ago who I messaged, they're like, I'm just now seeing this. And it's like, oh,
They look
that's
like.
5 years ago.
Oops,
Okay,
there's
that's a
what.
quick tip right there. Yes, that Polly has. So you can do that. But again, like, are you giving samples to everyone there? No. You know what? We have a 45-day money back guarantee. And like, I mean, like really, like if you, I mean, we have a 1% return rate. Like, I mean, I'm so confident about like just getting them, like, I mean, when they go into Sephora, they're not trying things out, you know, like they're not getting all these things, like when they're going to GNC and all that and Whole Foods. So, I mean, I'm confident in that. Like I build a relationship and I talk to them about that. I mean, again, I might give them a fizz or something else, but like generally speaking, I'm not just handing out samples to people. Usually I'm using it as like a little gift or an incentive. And yes, you buy them yourself. Sorry, I didn't answer that part of the question. So I usually use things that I can get volume off of. Like I use like the fizz sticks. And again, like Arbonne samples right now, they only have like a few, like the Age Well on there. But like the fizz sticks, you know, I just take it out of my stash of fizz. And then same thing with the detox tea. With the protein, of course, I give out the sealed ones, unless it's someone that I know really well and it's like I'm not mailing it. I can give them a scoop in a baggie, but that looks a little shady. But yeah, so we're responsible for our own, you know, samples, and it's better if you just get them from yourself instead of like sending them through Arbonne. Like you would only do that if someone's like international or something to you. Anyone else? Were there any other questions in there, Gabby?
No, I don't think so. And a sample hack, like it usually costs me like $3 to send in the mail. So if you're spending a lot of money, I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, it cost me like $13 to send samples. I was like, what? No. So like literally go to the dollar store, or you can order them on Amazon, like those like envelopes, big envelope things, and then just hand address them and then take them to the post office. Don't do like, I don't personally do like FedEx or the other one. I just do like normal postal service, and it's usually like $3, anywhere from like $3 to $5, depending on where you're shipping it. So it shouldn't be too much. But like Andrew said, don't send a ton. Like I don't send everybody samples. It's only people that are like really like you're actively in conversation with, and they're like a good prospect, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or your
and
host
yes,
or something
curiosity
like that.
packet. Dylan just put in the comments.
I set it out in the beginning when I say I'm gonna, you know, oh, okay, gonna send a sample, not necessarily with the fizz, you know, because we're trying to get engagement. But if I'm gonna send this to somebody, I say, okay, great. So normally what I do is a quick follow-up call. And so would that be okay? You should get the samples here. You know, how about Thursday, you know, and it doesn't mean that we necessarily always have that nailed down, but I let them know I'm going to follow up because, and I mean, I think people expect that or appreciate that, you know, so.
Definitely. Well, yeah, so I would definitely get them set up, like, you know, and you can work with your upline to like get you going on them. But like I said, everything is in that guide there. It's revamped and awesome and just easy to use. And yes, I would challenge yourself. Like I would book 10. Like honestly, like when I did the 15, like it was so many, like I had to use our Facebook tracker that we had to like actually track them. But I mean, I had like 100 new people in my pipeline, like more than that, you know, just because it was just like so many people, which is awesome, you know? So, and I got into some really good conversations with people. So, and I got some great preferred clients out of that and more hosts and some business partners. So yeah, so I would definitely like just dive in and like check it out. But that's the best way to do it, is just by doing it. Anyone
Sounds
else?
good. I'm excited.
I know. All right. Well, y'all have a great night, and then we will connect here again. Don't forget the trainings on the source starting on the 16th.
Awesome.
All right. Y'all have a great night.
Happy
Bye.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.